the first, I think it was the first reading that we had here, I was not paying attention to anything, and somebody came up to the mic and read a disease control pamphlet. And I said, you know, shit, I didn't know the Center for Disease Control was that rude. Other than that, I don't know anything about our next reader. Other than she lives and works in Tremont, because she told me that, and has come out of cave. She's a visual artist and a poet. I have ref first reading. I have done that. And is the author of the Center for Disease Control's pamphlet on cunt rot. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope the word fuck will be used.
Alright. Is the kids upstairs?
No.
If not, somewhere during the night, I promise you a copy of Hustler magazine will be brought out.
But I'm not responsible for that.
No, and it is not a Kate Sopko article that I will read.
There's articles?
Because it is Hustler, I doubt it will contain the word fuck.
Hey.
But ladies and gentlemen,
Don't worry, we got it.
I was asking my daughter who was responsible for that. And she took the blame.
it's a clean copy. I give you Kate Sopko.
I think you left your art friends behind. Which would be considered that?
Could be considered
Rare.
I'm videotaping.
Invaluable.
Alright. This is adjusting to a Chris Frankie world. Feels weird to me.
The Booyah issue, I just play with it.
I finally read all of that.
Okay, so I got to the point where I'm not really excited about any of my work anymore because I haven't written anything new recently. So what I did was just kind of like go through my stuff, see what spoke to me, and I found out that a lot of it just had to do with different people who have surfaced in my life. So this is dedicated to those who made it, those who didn't, and that's the deal. But Steve Goldberg is nowhere to be found in here, because we're still wondering, is he going to make it? Okay. This is called We Hope for Outcomes. He speaks of unconditional love as a standard. I've been polite to this idea, but love to me is a chronic condition, a hard labor of itself, told by its works, working quite hard, laboring just to answer the morning light, which demands too much function from dysfunction. Now breathe, now eat, now shit, now drink, now pay, which at once and on good days still woos and lusted after. On good days, it's providence. Breath comes easy and sex rises with the sun, and eye to eye is all that can be seen. On bad, the pacemakers a beat off and breath off, eat now and off shit now and drink and shit, now pay. And even to see you, my eye must be surgically assisted with lasers and knives. Why do some days come and some go so angrily, without mercy? The conditions come unasked, I should tell him, like the rise and fall of blood sugar and lust. And all I've come to call love is the waking effort to manage it. On some days to host, some days to harbor, some to heal. Feeling weird here, this doesn't...
Yes, Professor.
My architecture's off. Okay. Stop caring, start helium. Stop caring what people think. Where we live is evidence people are set spinning useless thoughts, vacuous, or none at all. If words are within you that give you pleasure, or pause, or move you, give them their due, and set them float above this America who has seldom seen. Perhaps it may for once feel. Migration. Some people had nowhere to go, so they died where they were. and the wingspans of birds who have always moved overshadowed the inevitable prone corpses. Sad. It is sad to be unwanted, and to have nowhere at home. This one is for a friend of mine. It's called Word on the 19th Floor. Problem with knowing you know how to fly is everyone's always forcing you to prove it. Prove it. My way. Then if you do it your way, the way you know, and you know, then it's a lie, or a crime, or proof you were wrong and they were right all along. It's a signature on a blank contract that gets filled in. Liar, thief, delusional. They are right. I don't know if all he wanted was to be right. And then I don't know if really what he wanted was for someone else to know he was right, or say he could be. Or maybe it was really just him wanting to fly his way and have us view it, be artists that way, with him and happy at a different height. Or maybe just our indifference. Just our not putting that demand for proof on his head every damn time. He was a cowboy, a cat burglar, was Rapunzel and her prince all at once, was Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Michael Archangel, Michael cast off, was devil and saint, star and beggar. Once told me he lived it all to know what his people lived, was Messiah. And damn me and us if we forced him to prove it. Damn us. If he knew it, then he did. And God knows he hurled enough beauty onto our head from those gangly heights. He deserved some awe. Deserved some delusions and fairy tales. A fucking rescue. A fucking smack over the head. A true lifelong love. Long memories and legends to fill in his footsteps, now vanishing, wind and rain. Problem with this society is it has no patience. Doesn't like telling stories and has largely outlawed hearing them. Demands proof of matter, that you matter, not that you dream. Damn, doesn't even care if you feel, or does if you feel inclined to fly. Flew. Who, you? Anyone who knows, he flew. It's called Tribute. He's made himself a home. Sewed it. The boy doesn't know how to sew, but he sewed it. Out of the ligament of his brain that had gone pop, pop, pop prior to the eviction, things were strained. How slowly we learned to be visionary in our own architecture. Those heavy strands he took, he knotted, he double knotted, and wove and pieced, and I guess probably wondered where all those strings came from to start with. The brain not having connective tissue at all, spliced it, made a messy pragmatic go at it to splice it all together. A new, robust, a firmament, a man's womb for himself of mind, matter, and will. I believe it is scarlet in color if you happen to be in the neighborhood. No, do not come to this old address anymore, requesting his flesh of mine. He is now home. You can visit him, he said, and what he says now, he means. At the beginning of the current war in Iraq, I was among people who were basically trying to do everything we could, a lot of the times out in the streets against the war. And over time, I think a lot of people that were initially with me on that just got to this point where it's like you feel this tremendous sense of urgency from the world situation. You see very little response. You see things just so out of whack with what you're bringing to the table. And so recently I've started trying to write a little bit more to what that psychological feeling is and how you can produce action out of that sort of person. And this is called The Remains. So we ended once, the tail end of a very long and tired day, and turned our stayed necks backward, the lines of curled dead. I said, enough. Mind you, not as in enough dead, that had already been said, but as in enough. I stop here and the world remains. And this remainder is enough to confirm enough. What have I done to the dead? Or for them? What could ever be done? For see, I poked them with sticks. I was angry. Maybe indicated the world would be angry too. I looked to rehydrate them in their drying with weeping. I corralled entire armies of angry, weeping, living people, but our forces did not move the mind. Itself far too made up, it would stay put, and the dead remained so curled. Among them, living, I remained. This would be a good time to rest, I suppose. After stopping, there's not much else. What else? But mutterings, muttered, and the prone told tales without moving even their lips or eyes, and my senses of guilt, duty, resignation, entitlement ran out of room for themselves, glutted out by stories not of me, who demanded of me once inside me just one authentic feeling, just one genuinely new imagining, to be born inside that very raped, skinned, gassed, bloodied throng. Just one thing. Just this one thing is all you owe, they said unmoving, to do one new thing, one previously unimaginable thing, to make one conviction for the remains and the remainder. This is one I've never read out before, so it's called Dying. To you who will not, to sistery velvet, to laughter not bouncing, to those who'd toast flowers to a rival, and what they may buy with that money. To you who will, to whispery notion, to breath gently not claiming coy, to things and characters not your interest, and what they'll be absent in absence. To you not choose, to duly angel, to heirs unaired settling up, to this life kept near exit, and what we'll buy with our time. This is the last one. For the blast. In the space of one breath, no, we may believe, we may also disbelieve. One of these things you will find is enough. In the soft space of an open palm, find a miracle pulse, a matter of decision and direction. Decide, direct, it will go. It is enough. We sow unbelievabilities, things to smash the skull. Don't worry, it is ultimately painless. We worry too much, do too little, decide on the sake of the wrong stakeholders, the meek grab hold of a coming day. We believe or say no. It is one breath to do so. You will find one is enough.